Welcome to our channel Blender Tips. In this tutorial, you will learn that how we will create this beautiful water simulation by using the fluid physics properties in Blender. And here you can see that the water is emitting from this pipe and collecting into the first pound. And after passing through the whole of the first pound, the water is in second and then finally collecting into the third pound. If you want to download the project file, then you can visit my Patreon page. Link is in description. So let's start. First I open the Blender and press Shift A to add a plane and scale this plane something like this. Enter into the edit mode of this plane and extrude this along Z axis something like this, and also scale this beautiful and press 3 for face selection and delete this face. And now back to the edge selection and select all these edges by pressing Alt and also extrude along Z axis something like this. Beautiful. Now press 1 for front view and press 3 for face selection and subdivide this face and select the center for face by pressing shift and then press E to extrude along x-axis something like this and delete these faces. Beautiful. Back to the object mode and in front view, and now I duplicate this object by pressing shift D and place this something like here. Nice. And I also add another plane, and in top view I scale this plane something like this and move this plane here, and now enter into the edit mode and press E to extrude along Z axis. Nice. And select this upper face and delete this, and also enter into the object mode and move this object something like this. Beautiful. Nice. Now I enter a curve path and rotate this along y-axis to 90 degree and move this path something like here and enter into the edit mode and select the upper vertex and bend this like this because I want this curve as a pipe. So enter into the object data properties and here in geometry I add some bevel depth to this pipe, this curve to form a pipe something like this. View. Back to the object mode and now I want to add a blue object which I want a UV sphere and also make it shape smooth and scale down this and move this and also press start to focus this and also scale down to adjust this. Nice. Beautiful. Now I want to add a domain for all these objects. For that I add a cube and scale this along x-axis something like here and also move here and adjust to cover all these objects. Beautiful. Press 7 for top view and also scale this along y-axis. Nice. And now I scale this cube along z-axis to cover all these objects. Scale something more. Nice. Now this cube cover all these of our objects. Nice. Now I join all these pounds to make a single object. For that I press Ctrl J to join them. Beautiful. Now I want to add the fluid physics properties to our system. So I enter into the physics properties and here I choose the type fluid and I make these objects from where the water cannot pass through these objects. So for that I select its vector and also its plane. Nice. Now I select the UV sphere and in fluid physics I choose it a flow object and here the flow type I choose liquid and in geometry I choose inflow. Beautiful. And I want the water emitted from this pipe and having some velocity along x-axis. So for that, I turn on the initial velocity, and here in initial x, I give the some velocity of 3 meter per second. Beautiful. And now finally, I select my domain, and in fluid, I choose the type domain, and here the domain type, I choose liquid, and here the resolution for this domain, I choose 100 resolution. Beautiful. Nice. Now I run the simulation and check the result. Beautiful. And here you can see that the water is emitted from this pipe and collecting in this pond. And the water cannot pass through this hole because the resolution division is too much low for this object. So I increase the resolution division and check the result. Beautiful. Now I run the simulation and check. Beautiful. Now you can see that the water is emitting from this pipe and also passing this hole, and after when there is a sufficient water in the second pound, then also passing from this hole and finally collect in the last tank. Nice. Now it's time to baking. So for that I bake the simulation, and here I enter into the cache type, and here I choose the modular, and also I select is resemble. Nice. And now I take the simulation, and I also increase the number of frames. From here I enter the something like 700, and here I also enter the end frame 700. Nice. And now I take the simulation. After taking the simulation, you can see that the water is emitting from this pipe, and then collecting in this first pound, and after passing this hole, collecting into the second pound, and then finally collecting into the third pound. Beautiful. Now it's time to bake the mesh of this domain. So for that, I bake the mesh. After baking the mesh, you can see that our scene is ready, and now we can run the simulation, and you can see that the fluid is emitted from this pipe and collecting into the second pound after passing to the first hole, and then finally into the third. Beautiful. Now it's time to add the material. So for that I enter into the material viewport, and here I select the fluid and I enter into the material view, and here I choose the new material, and here I choose some water type material, and for that I choose the glass PSTF. So I choose this, and when you enter into the rendered view, then you can see that it is nicely looking like a water. Beautiful. Now I want to add some brick type textures to these pounds. So for that I open my asset browser. Here is my asset browser, and here I choose the type material, and here I choose the bricks material. So here I choose the different type of bricks. So for that I choose this bricks. After adding the brick textures to these objects, now it's time to add the material of this pipe. So for that I select some metal type material. So for metals type material I select the some metal type material to our scene. So for that I found there is no metal materials in my asset browsers. So I select this, and here I assign some material. like some this type of material, and also I increase the metallic value, and here I decrease the roughness value, something like this. Beautiful. Nice. Now our scene is ready. Back to the timeline, and here I run the simulation and check the result. Beautiful. Thanks for watching.